Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Alexander Floorzone. Today I'm doing a really simple video. A while back I did my review on the Dell Inspiron 15502 laptop. And basically one of the big conclusions that I came to at the end of the video was that the RAM just wasn't up to par with the CPU when it came to the kind of tasks that I was trying to do. And it seemed like the RAM was the #1 bottle cap besides the tiny storage. But soon after buying that laptop, and around the time that I was filming that review, I actually purchased a second 8GB stick for upgrading it so that I could do things like exporting videos, because before I couldn't even export a video with 8GB of RAM. But I'm pretty sure that this 8GB stick has fixed it. I've already put it in. I'm going to show you guys just how I did it exactly if you're not so tech savvy and you just want a little tutorial. And I also want this video to sort of serve as a general tutorial as to how to pick out your RAM upgrade for your system and how to install it in general, since most laptops are pretty similar. So first of all, if you're looking to upgrade your laptop RAM, #1, I would recommend actually looking to see if you need to upgrade it, because a lot of the time people hear that, you know, RAM will make their PC faster just in general. Well, that's not exactly true. It all depends what's the bottle cap on your system, because if you have a crappy CPU, a lot of RAM is not necessarily going to fix your problem if that is actually what's bottlenecking. So you're going to want to run your system and sort of just put it under a regular workload where you would be feeling like you need a little more oomph in there, and you're going to open up Task Manager and take a look at just how far your RAM has gone. If your RAM is still, you know, only at like 70%, 80%, it's not your problem. You might see that your CPU is way up at 100%, in which case you can see that that's sort of what's actually bottle capping. But if your RAM is up at 100%, then that might mean that you'll need a little more RAM to complete the tasks that you're trying to do. So now that we've established whether or not you really need some more RAM, if you do, then the next step is to figure out what kind of RAM you need. For most laptops, unless you're running a really old laptop, it's going to be either DDR3 or DDR4, but nowadays mostly DDR4 if you got your laptop in the last like 5 years. Then there's the speed of your RAM. It's going to be in megahertz. Example, 2666 megahertz or 3200 megahertz. There's a bunch of different speeds. But all of that aside, all of these different specs, there's actually easy ways to figure out the compatibility. There's Crucial has a tool on their website where you can just put in the exact system that you have and it will give you a list of compatible RAM. The downside to just using that tool is that Crucial only gives you a list of Crucial RAM, their RAM that they produce, because they want to make the sale, of course. But the good news about that is that when it comes down to it, you're going to be getting a pretty good deal. Other manufacturers might also have similar tools. Crucial also has one that you can download if you don't know exactly what system you have, since that can be sometimes hard to find. You can download their tool and run it, and it will just figure it out for you and tell you what you need. As for this particular notebook, it requires DDR4 at 3200 megahertz. I'll put up the exact specs of the RAM up there. Maybe I'll just put a little picture or something so you can see for yourself. Otherwise, you can just use Crucial's tool to figure out the exact stick. I got mine off of Amazon for around $45 or $50, I think. Alright, so once you've got your stick, all that's left to do is put it in the machine. Alright, so the first thing that you're going to want to do, once you make sure that you have the right RAM stick to work with your laptop, is first of all, you're going to want to make sure that you have a nice static-free workspace. I have a hardwood tabletop here, and I'm standing on hardwood flooring. The risk of a static shock actually zapping one of your PC components is pretty low, but it's still best to be more safe than sorry. There are also anti-static bracelets that you can wear around your ankle to prevent static shock, but they're not totally necessary just to replace a couple components. Next thing you're going to want to do is make sure that your laptop is powered down and unplugged. If there is a battery on the back that you can just pop out, you're going to want to pop that out too, and maybe press the power button a few times to discharge the system fully. The Inspiron here, it does not have a removable battery, so I guess we just won't worry about that, but I do have it shut down and unplugged. Once you have the laptop prepped and your workspace prepped, you're just going to need a couple of tools. First of all, of course, I have the upgrade stick here. Then we have a screwdriver. Some people recommend using a non-magnetic, which makes sense for inside your PC. You don't want to be touching any components with that and messing them up. But for a RAM upgrade, generally you just have to take off the back plate, so any small screwdriver will be fine. And then right here we have, basically it's a guitar pick. If you don't have one of these, you can just use a guitar pick. It's pretty much almost literally the same thing. It's meant for once you've undone all of these screws, you can get in that edge and pry up any little plastic hooks that keep the back fastened on even when the screws are out. With that being said, we'll take out all these screws and take a look inside. And these two back screws right here, they feel like you're kind of breaking something when you try to unscrew them. They will click and kind of do a weird thing, but don't worry, that's just because they have a little washer underneath. Now that we got most of our screws out, all we have to do is try and get under an edge here with our little tool. There we go. Move along the edge. There we go. So here we have the guts. There's a lot of components here. Some laptops will maybe require only taking off a little panel to upgrade the RAM, or you might have to dig even deeper to upgrade the RAM. But here in the Inspiron 5502, we have our two DIMM slots right here. 1 and 2. One is occupied currently by an 8 gig stick, and I am adding my second 8 gig stick in slot number 2. It is a super easy installation. Okay, we're going to carefully take our RAM out of there. We're going to hold it by the edges and not touch the gold plates, since that could cause damage or get them oily, cause a bad connection. We're going to flip up this little bit here, and you're going to see some pins along here, just like on the edge of your RAM, and there's going to be a little notch, and the notch is going to be farther to one side than the other, and you're going to have to line up that notch just the same. Got it lined up, and it's going to go in on an angle. You'll know when it's in there because it'll really fit in snug, and it won't move up and down very much. But then once you have it in there, you shouldn't really be able to see any more of the gold from the pins on the edge of the RAM. But from there, we're just going to push it down, and it's going to pop in. A couple clips on either side are just going to pop over top of it, and there we go. Just like that, your RAM will be installed. And from there, we can just reassemble it and boot it up to make sure that it is registering properly. The first time that I disassembled this to take a look inside for the review video, when I assembled it all back together, there was something up with the touchpad here. Right over here, this is the edge of the touchpad. If we opened it up, the touchpad would be about right here. And basically, when I put the back panel back on, I flipped it over, and whenever I would push on the bottom, whenever I pushed on this edge, it would click. So that was a little messed up. It's important to make sure that it's all clicked in properly just the way that it was before. You have to put in the front edge first. Front edge, not the back edge where the hinge is. The front edge here. Otherwise, it's hard to explain, but basically it will be very difficult to push this front edge in properly when the back edge is in there. And then once we reach these two screws up here, they actually stop the back from going on anymore, so we're gonna screw them in as we push down this backing. Same on this side. Then we can put all our screws back in. So here when booting up, it took a while to boot up, but here we have an alert. The amount of system memory has changed. So we'll just go into BIOS setup. So it boots us up into the overview here. If we just scroll down, we can see our memory. We have 16 gigabytes. It is loading at 3200 megahertz. So with that, we can just exit out. And we can see also here in Task Manager, we open it up and go to performance, we can see our memory, 15.7 gigabytes. We'll try out some of the tasks that this laptop was having trouble with before. We'll export a 15-minute video to see if it will actually run now that it has enough RAM. Alright, so I ran a couple tests on here with the 16 gigabytes now, and it's a lot better. Now I can actually export videos, never mind 15-minute videos. My wife just exported a video that was just under an hour, and there were no issues whatsoever. I guess it just needed that little bit more of RAM. I think it was just barely running out before, so even another 4 gig stick would have done it. I guess that's the case with a lot of tasks. When it came to games, we're doing a lot better in the RAM sector, although the GPU is still a big limiter. We're doing a lot better with that 16 gigabytes. So I guess that's all for today's video, guys. Depending on your laptop type, I can't tell you exactly how it'll go, or if you'll have to do anything extra, or it might be a much more complicated task to take it apart, but I can pretty much guarantee that this will be all the information you need if you are upgrading your Inspiron 15 Dell laptop. This is the 5502 model, but I think it'll be the same for a lot of other ones as well. So thanks guys for watching. If this video helped you out, please do leave a like. Please subscribe if you're interested in seeing more reviews and tutorials and projects related to tech and gaming. I have a really cool project coming up that I'm working very hard on, and that's going to be my next video that I'm filming here, actually, after this RAM upgrade. So I'm really looking forward to posting that, and if you subscribe and hit that notification bell, then you will be notified when that next video drops. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.